Welcome to episode 6 of Dark Diaries. There's a lot that we can probably get into today, just like there is every single week, but holy shit, what is going on? What is today? January 18th, and tomorrow is Inauguration Day. So we already all know what's going on with that. Donald Trump is going to be president, and all the billionaires are going to be up there with him. And Biden even warned the American people, saying pretty much, hey, we have an oligarchy going on. And it's just crazy to wrap my mind around something like this, because I'm not shocked. Going to be extremely truthful, I am not shocked at all whatsoever. But it's almost like still an awe moment. Like, there's no way this is actually happening. Despite what you may believe and whatnot, not trying to get into the politics hardcore into this episode, because I know some things, but I am not extremely knowledgeable in the situation. I honestly could learn a lot more about politics, which is a good thing that I'm going to be learning through forensic psychology. We haven't touched base on anything law related yet in forensic psychology, but I have been teaching myself the basic knowledge, because honestly, from high school to now, I don't remember shit. And there's a lot of things that I could refresh myself on, as I'm sure you can too. And in light of everything happening, I definitely would start looking up a lot more things to figure out how the law actually works. When it comes to statutes and different things like that, I learned about that in my bachelor's for criminal justice. I actually really thought at one point that I wanted to be a lawyer, because I hardcore was like, this is against this statute and this is against this. Like, I have a justice complex from hell, which is why I always say when I do become a forensic psychologist, like, I am going to put my heart and soul into the position, but I also want to make change throughout the criminal justice system to include sexual assault. I went away from that topic for a while because TikTok and the bans and Instagram and, whatever. I really want to incorporate that again, because I saw today, I think it's because of the inauguration that's going on, but there are so many protests going on. And the first one that I saw today was for women in the UK. And I was like, damn, what's going on over there? And from what I heard, was that women in the UK were protesting for women worldwide, like the oppression that women face. And if you don't think that there's some oppression on women, like, be so fucking for real. Really, really be so fucking for real. And with everything going on, not to get hardcore into it, but with everything going on, I honestly do not know what's going to happen with women in professional careers. I feel like they're really trying to just take us and make us mothers and make us just all about the men, all about the family, all about whatever. And I don't know how to feel about it, because I think it was only until like 1973 or something. I'll have to double check it right now, actually. I think it was in 1973 that women weren't even allowed to have like their own bank accounts. Let's look it up. What year were women allowed to have bank accounts? Like, it's crazy. Women haven't had their own rights very long at all, and I feel like it's just about to get stripped away again. Okay, so it says women in the U.S. were legally allowed to have bank accounts in their own names starting in the 1960s and 1970s, though the exact timeline varied by state and bank policies. Before the 1960s, many banks required a husband's or male relative's permission for a woman to open an account. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974 made it illegal for banks to discriminate based on sex or marital status, ensuring that women could open bank accounts, take out loans, and get credit cards without a male cosigner. 1960s to the 1970s. And the Equal Credit Act, or the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974. It is 2025. We're facing this shit again. Like, I love that people are protesting. I really do. It's on my bucket list to at least do one in my life. I want to be able to get out there and like feel the advocation and like really be out there for a purpose. That's how I felt when I joined the Marine Corps. But unfortunately, in the Marine Corps too, I saw all the misogyny. It really is a thing. And to see what's going on in government, I'm sorry, like I can get along and talk to someone who feels differently about this. It's not the first thing that I would do. I would never get on a podcast to do that. But I'm saying in person, just because someone has differing views than me doesn't mean that I don't like you or that I can't talk to you. I could definitely talk to someone and still respect them as long as they respect me. Let's get that clear. I just want to make sure. But what the hell is going on? I need to get off that. And then the TikTok shit. It's all a money grab. We all know it's a money grab, and they're not going to admit that. People are like, oh, they think we're so dumb. First of all, they know that majority of people are just going to follow the herd. They're not going to think for themselves. It's the truth. I think it was like 30% of people are actually self-aware of themselves, like genuinely self-aware of themselves and not following the herd. That is not that many people. And I just found out because I was reading for forensic psychology this week and I was trying to prep myself for maybe a forensic psychology podcast this week. I was reading about manipulation and it said that 95% of people are manipulated and they don't even know it. Like, that's crazy. I'm not surprised, but that is wild. So let me hop off that horse. But the TikTok shit, that going away, I completely agree that it's going against our First Amendment rights. And if you guys don't remember what our First Amendment rights are, think freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, right to petition the government. And I'm going to read it to you verbatim, okay? What it says in the Constitution. Congress shall make no law representing an establishment. Oh, my apologies. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Tell me that's not saying the big F you to the American people. It is not about China. It's not about China. And guess what? They're going to take it away anyway because it's all a money grab. It's all a money grab. And it's just a matter of time before, who knows if another app is even going to pop up. That's what I'm like, that's what's getting me nervous is that the American people are going to get poorer and we're going to get stomped on more to not speak up. And we're just supposed to be okay with it. Like, it's just happening right in front of us. And we just got to be okay with it. And they're going to seriously do whatever they want because the criminal justice system itself is so corrupt. And I feel as though that there is a lot of people in the criminal justice system, obviously, that want to do good. Like, myself included. There's lots of people, and there's lots of horrible people too. But unfortunately, even in the criminal justice system, with people like them, who they're not in the criminal justice system, but people with power, people with money, they're going to influence shit. Not like, even when you start getting into the Supreme Court and like lawyers up there, like, you think they're not doing dirty ass shit? Because they are. And that's why when I was reading my book for forensic psychology, I wish I could talk. Forensic psychology this week. Testifying in Court is the book. I raved about it on my social media. The forensic psychologist in the book, he has like a backbone on him, and he's like a no bullshit, like, you're not gonna scare me, you're not gonna throw me around, I don't care about your power, I'm gonna say what I have to say, and this is my job. I respect that, and that's how I aspire to be. And just the energy of the book is like, yes. And that's how I feel like the American people are starting to get. Like, a lot of us are starting to wake up, which, thank God. I just woke up fully, like, maybe last year, coming out of my depression, which everyone knows, like, that's pretty much how it goes for everyone. If you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, yeah, you can relate to that. Everyone pretty much goes through a shit ass time, goes through a spiritual awakening, wakes up, and then starts realizing a lot of stuff around them. It's freaking crazy. But I also wanted to talk about Dr. Stephen Greer. I don't know if you guys have heard, but today is, again, January 18th, 2025. And a couple days ago, and Dr. Stephen Greer has been saying this for a couple weeks, but he said within 72 hours, which today is the last day of the 72 hours, that he and a bunch of whistleblowers were supposed to be whistleblowing more about the UFOs, UAPs, aliens, stuff like that. Holy shit. I haven't seen anything. Apparently, you're supposed to get on his website to listen to the podcast, and he's going to have a bunch of people on there or something like that. But it's going to be like a bombshell. Apparently, everyone's saying that like it's going to be like the biggest disclosure in U.S. history. So, I don't know. That's crazy. And piggybacking off that, you guys are not going to believe me. In Japan, mind you, I used to live in Japan, so this is like really crazy, but I don't know if I believe it, but at the same time, I think it was confirmed. I didn't double check myself. But in Japan, scientists just cleared for people, human beings, to have sex with animals and like have babies with them for hybrids. And apparently they're saying that they're doing it because of organ donation for humans. Like it's a good like genetic code or whatever to where we can get more organs out there for people. I don't know. I don't know about that dog. I don't know. Can I pet that dog? No, you can't pet that dog. Can you imagine walking around and seeing like, hey, what's up, man? And it's like some elephant slash dude, some jaguar slash dude. Like, what do you do? Honestly, I don't know what I would do. If I walked around, even the robot shit that's going on, if I walk around in town and I see a damn half hybrid human or a robot, yeah, I'm gonna feel like, what's that movie with Will Smith? iRobot? That shit is scary. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all the AI stuff. Like, it's helpful in some ways. Like, I just use AI to get the definitions and stuff for you guys to read off. Like, it's a good tool for some things, but they're going way crazy with this shit, man. Like, they're going crazy with it. I don't, and all the predictions of like AI is gonna take over the world, robots are gonna take over the world. I feel like at this point you guys should know too that like most of the movies, they're not predictions. Like, I mean, I guess predictions is what you can like define it as, but like think of it as them already knowing the script. It's like The Simpsons. How the fuck do they know everything? Somebody knows something. Like it's all connected. And this is where I go into my like weird Joe Rogan talk, which I can't wait. Fucking someday, like that came out wrong. That's not what I meant. I can't wait until someday my manifestations come true because that's like my biggest number one manifestation, and I'm gonna say it. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because even though he really fucking pisses me off and I don't agree with him, and he really did some nasty shit this year with getting charged as a rapist for raping that woman, Conor McGregor. Ugh. Anyway, he did say one thing. He said, if you can speak it, then it's yours. And he was really big into law of attraction, manifesting, things like that. And I've done a really big job so far on my manifesting. And obviously you can see it. Like, if you've been following me for some time, like I literally went from crash out fucking what the fuck is wrong with her? Like, people thought I was manic. I thought I was manic for a little bit. Like, until I got my shit together. And that is a whole different episode. Like, that would be a vlog I'd have to do, seriously, with you guys and just sit down and really get into it. But to see how I went from that to this is wild. And I'm not even anywhere yet. Like, I still have a ways to go, but my ADHD got me off track. My number one manifestation after all of this shit pops, the biggest thing that I want to do, and even Conor McGregor said, if you speak it, it's yours. I will be on Joe Rogan's podcast. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. I will be on Joe Rogan's podcast. Mark my words. Certified Dochi. Literally saying that shit because she did the same shit. She spoke her shit and believed it true heart. And I do. I'm not gonna lie. People are gonna look at me and be like, Caitlin, you are crazy. Or some people are gonna be like, whoa, she has balls. That I do. I don't care anymore. What's someone gonna do? Send me the evil eye? Okay. If I believe in myself and I have confidence in myself, then what's an evil eye? What's an evil eye gonna do? Because I really feel like evil eyes only get you if you're insecure. And honestly, I have to say, after a lot of the work that I've done, I don't really have insecurities anymore. Now, when I start talking to men again, fuck yeah, that's gonna be a big issue. Again, we can get into that someday. I'm not even thinking about that for light years. But we'll see what happens, because my sister and my mom are like, I think it's gonna happen fast for you. Like, you're just gonna meet somebody soon when I have to go back to Florida and have kids, and it's just gonna be fast. I don't know how I feel about that either, because I feel some of you guys are gonna be like, Caitlin, what the fuck? Marriage to me is like such a down bad thing. Like, it is the ultimate. Like, so I feel like some women, they look at marriage and they're like, oh my God, my man loves me and he's awesome and he's amazing, which is fucking great. Like, I'm not shitting on marriage at all. But I feel like then they realize, oh, he really kind of treats me like shit. Or like, he really wants me to do like only women duties. Like, he's kind of misogynistic. He's kind of this. He's kind of like, you just start realizing a lot of shit. And I wholeheartedly believe it's because both people go into a marriage and they don't know one another. And the only reason why I'm saying this, and some people are going to be like, Caitlin, you're not married, shut the fuck up. All right, I feel you. But the only reason why I'm saying this is because I'm at that prime age for marriage, and I can't even imagine going into something right now. If it happens or whatever. But like, I could never in my lifetime be with another man that has not gone through the trenches and picked himself up and is actually a good person. Like, I already had a radar before, but I let people treat me like shit because of my trauma and because of what I had been through. And it's a subconscious thing, which I know somebody, whoever's listening, can relate. Like, it really is a subconscious thing until you start waking up and you're like, oh, fuck. And you really have to take responsibility for yourself. Like, I'm the one who put myself in those situations of the fucked up shit that happened. I'm the one who trusted horrible men. I let horrible men treat me some type of way. Like, I didn't, whatever, X, Y, and Z. Like, you have to own up to your shit. And I feel like that is a hard thing to do. And I was on YouTube a couple nights ago, and because I keep telling you guys every episode, I want you to be strong. I want you to not be insecure, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it. And I was like, well, how do I talk to them? My women in my age, I'm 28. Let's say, like, even if I get a lot of high school girls that hit me up too. So including them as well. But I'm like, how do I relate what I want while also acting how I want? Because if I'm always dressed like shit and then I'm telling you guys to be confident, well, of course you're going to be like, Caitlin, no, like, I'm not going to listen to you if you even watch my video, because I'm not doing what I'm saying. And that's another thing I realized. I seriously, I threw away all my clothes. I have nothing, barely, nothing nice, at least, from all like the depression and the weight loss. I'm like threw out everything, donated so much shit. So I definitely soon need to be re-upping my closet, so that way what I'm saying to you guys, and it's still going to be the same stuff, but what I'm saying to you guys will hit a little bit more, because I'm going to look the part and say what I'm saying. But anyway, I was on YouTube and I was looking up, how do I relay what I want about confidence and whatnot in women, like how to build strength in women in communities and whatnot. And I forget the woman's name, but we all know the woman. She has an accent. She's gorgeous. She has long black hair. And she's like, why are you not confident? He's doing this and he's cheating on you and da-da-da. And I'm like, you know what? That's how I talk to my friends. Like, not just about their cheating man, but that's how I talk to my friends about everything. Oh, let me get okay, I was recording behind the scenes, but let me grab my phone, because I have to show you guys this message. This girl messaged me. I really hope she doesn't or he, she. I don't know. I didn't look at the profile picture. Sophie. Okay, she. Okay. She messaged me, and like I said, I get a lot of high schoolers that hit me up, and it almost like warms my heart because a lot of people, well, not a lot. I've had 2 or 3 so far. Just another person asked to interview me for forensic psychology and just to do it for school and whatnot. And I get a lot of high schoolers that ask me stuff as well. Well, this girl specifically had asked me about Muay Thai, and if you've been following my channel, my experience with Muay Thai has been great so far at this gym. I missed like a month and a half now because of some shit for like the past month, but the last week or so, that's on me. I just didn't go because I was doing oh my god, what is it? Editing. And I could have gone. So, I'm taking that hit or whatever. But regardless, she hit me up about it because I had posted something about Muay Thai. And she messaged me and she was like, "Hi, I wrote a comment about Muay Thai. I was wondering how you're doing in Muay Thai and how do you like it? I've been to a few trial trainings and couldn't go for a couple of weeks because I was sick. Now I really want to start and make progress. But even though I know I'm a beginner, I have a lot of self-doubt that I'll never get better. Did you have similar thoughts, or do you feel after going to a couple Muay Thai trainings, in my head, I know the biggest failure is to not go and just start. But somehow I'm still so much in my head." And mind you, this was on January 3rd, today's 18th. So I was like, oh, like that happens with my messages sometimes, guys. Like you would think, like I'm going to go off. Let me just answer. "Hey," this is what I said. "Hey, sorry for just now seeing this, and I love it. Also, when I began, everyone has those thoughts. Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu are an art, not only with your body, but your mind. You physically have to fail every time you learn. Same thing in life. When I gained this perspective, it made me feel powerful. Then I realized we are powerful and fear is not real. Walk in, even if you're nervous, that's the first step. You made it. Then talk to some people on the mat, introduce yourself. It takes baby steps, but as long as you're doing it, you're not a failure. Failures don't even try. You don't have to be the best to do something. You're doing something. You're not trying, you're doing, and that's more than most. Everyone always starts at the bottom no matter what you do in life. So start. You won't be the best at first, but eventually with time, you will see progression." And I go on to say, I know, just say with me, baby. "Stop caring what people think of you. That's what's bothering you. And trust me, I've been there. Start thinking, what would the version of myself that goes to Muay Thai be like? Envision that person. Maybe it's like being a badass on the mats and kind of off the mat. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's both. But what would that version of you do to start? Go to Muay Thai as a beginner with no experience. No one there will judge you for being a beginner. I promise you that. If someone judges you, it's because they are shocked that you have the confidence because they don't themselves. Confidence isn't given, it's earned and maintained, or even grows more. And it's practice. With time, it gets bigger and better. You got this." And I went on to say, essentially, that if you say you are a failure, you're going to be a failure. If you say you're a winner and you truly believe you're a winner, even if you might be losing matches or whatever it may be you're doing, and someone tells you you're a failure, you don't have to get upset by that because you know in your heart you're not a failure. You know it takes failure to learn and to grow and to be a winner. If you have the guts to go and do something and fail and you're doing something, dude, you're brave already. Like you're doing so much good shit already. And that's what I want to push to women because I feel like it gets shoved down men's throats, but not to women. Like, oh my Lord. And I learned it in the Marine Corps too. Like my whole life I've worked around men. I've had occupations, all jobs around men. And it's just something that I have learned that it's shoved down their throats. Be stoic, be an alpha, be a man. But if a woman is a man and stoic and an alpha, she's a bitch or a whore. And that's very true. And that's what I learned in the Marine Corps. When I first got in the Marine Corps, they were like, hey, you're either going to be a bitch or a whore. Choose which one. And I was like, fuck, I'd rather be a bitch. And I had to be a bitch. It's just what it is. But going off this, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable to do something because you're the new guy or you're a beginner. And I felt the same way when I did social media, or when I started social media, because dog, I started this when I was in the very deep ass depression. And I put so much weird shit out there. And I some stuff I put out there just because I was like, I don't like act like this right now, or I don't really want to, but I kind of want to see how people would act. Like, it was almost as just like, how weird can I get so that when I post stuff, people won't even like blink anymore. Like, and it was breaking an ice for me. And then now look at me. Like I talked about earlier, I've manifested so much shit, and I can't wait till we get farther in the manifestations, because we're going to get to know each other so freaking well. And I'm going to be able to talk to you guys, and we're going to build on confidence. We're going to talk to women. Like, that's another, like, the only reason why I'm so focused on women and forensic psychology and advocating and all this shit is because we are so divided. And people don't realize that when women get in groups, typically now, it's shitty. Like, no one knows how to communicate. No one knows how to communicate. No one knows how to be a good friend. Everyone's catty as shit. Like, I just can't stand it. And I think that we should build more community-based female groups that aren't bitchy. And guess what? We can learn how to communicate to each other in good, healthy ways, and like by building confidence and within each other. Like, and you can't do it within each other. I mean, you can do it like once you're in a group, but we can teach each other like how you gain confidence within yourself, and within yourself creates a stronger group. Man, it gets hard out here, dog. I don't know why I've always been so pro women, and it's always been women that have shut me the fuck down. And I know that sometimes I've been a bitch, and I know that sometimes I'm the alpha, which when I say sometimes, I'm always the alpha. Point, period, blank. But guess what? When other alphas walk in the room, one thing that I did notice that I was different than other women on, if they were better than me, I could own it to myself, and I would literally talk to them and be like, how did you do this? How did you do that? Like, I would not shit on them. I would be so drawn to them to know, what the fuck are you doing? And how do I get there? Like, it's so intriguing to me, to where other women, they see that and they're like, let me drag you the hell down. Like, no, why would you take a powerful woman who's worked her ass off, whether she's a bitch or not? If she has worked her ass off by herself and she's a raging bitch, she might be a raging bitch and get her karma in another life or this life, but the bitch is making it. She's doing something right. She's doing something right. And you don't have to take everyone's negativity and take it into negativity. What do I say all the time? Take negativity and turn it into a positive. Learn what that bitch is doing to do good in life, be successful. Take it, twist it to your own, and be positive. Damn. I get real passionate about this shit because I do not understand why women are so mean. I could go on that rant forever. I just don't, it will never make sense to me. And even someday when I make it, like, I want to build by the masses, a woman base that I can talk to for my community. I want strong women to uphold each other. I want to talk about things. I want to exchange shit. Like, I want someone to be confident enough to be in a group or something and be like, yo, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a bitch to this person, or I was really bitchy. Like, you can take ownership, or even being like, guys, like, I'm kind of shitty in this area, and like guide them through that. Congratulations, like, you were able to start looking inward at yourself. I just have never understood. I've done that with literally all my friends, and maybe I'm babying them in some ways. Like, I have definitely been a mother to pretty much everyone in my life. And have I overdone it? Abso-fucking-lutely I have. Absolutely. But I don't regret it, because it's all taught me something. And that kind of goes into the forensic psych shit too. Like, when I really started getting into mental health and like learning how people are doing things and why do they do messed up shit and how does it affect people, because I had so much trauma in my life. It was causing so much of negativity in my life, a chain reaction, that I was like, dude, I need to know physically how this works, because it's going to make me like go crazy even more. if I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing or why other people are doing what they're doing. And especially with my friends, like my girlfriends, like that was always the hardest for me to analyze. My mom was always the one that was like, girl, like, what you doing? Like, you can't see what's going on. And I would just let people treat me like shit because I wanted friends so bad. Like, I really didn't have any, which I don't know how I got down on that path, but ooh, I had some questions too that people have been asking me, and I wanted to tell you them because it's all about forensic psychology, and we love things about forensic psychology. And I want more women to get into forensic psychology. I want you to learn the confidence and the charisma of what it takes to be a strong woman. And we're going to do it together because, like I said, I went from the shit floor, depressed as hell, to where I am at now. And I have more confidence and I'm working on even more. I'm losing weight. I'm doing all this stuff. But I can own up that, hey, you know, I did gain a lot of weight this year. I'm not going to be like, no, I didn't. Like, blah, blah. Now I'm saying it was needed because in my depression, do you think I needed any more headspace to be worrying about my body dysmorphia and my eating disorder and shit? No. So I've gained weight, but I don't like hate myself. But at the same time, but this is crazy for me because I've always had body dysmorphia since the Marine Corps. But I don't like my body right now. And I definitely will get like loose skin removal, get the tatas done and everything. I am not denying that. When I lose more weight, I'm getting everything done. But it's crazy because it's like at the same time, I don't hate myself though. Which, and that's good, but before I used to hate myself so bad. So this is the things I'm talking about that I sit in bed and I think, okay, that's a really good thing, but like, why? What? You know, because some people would be like, well, if you don't hate yourself, why are you going to get the surgery? Well, I don't want it. And I want to, also another thing too, and this might be TMI, but like, who cares? I put everything on here. When I do go to have kids and stuff, obviously you have to do the thing. I don't want that. I don't want to have that. My sister's like, why don't you wait until after you have kids? I don't want to do that because after the train wreck of my life and all that stuff that happened with, you know, I don't want anything to be the same. In like a weird flipped way, it's almost like creating a new body, which is kind of like what my therapist was telling me what I did when I gained all the weight. It was kind of like a deflector of like making sure no one comes near me and shit like that. And I mean, she makes sense. Like, what a thing. But anyway, back to these forensic psychology. What got me into forensic psychology? Literally what I was just saying, all the trauma shit. I actually was going to school for nursing at first and at my community college. And funny story, I got sexually assaulted and it was at my workplace. And I went crazy after that, kind of like this last crash out, but this last crash out was like way worse. And so I had a crash out. And then I was like, after some time, I'm going to join the fucking Corps. And that's the very, very short version of it. Corps. And then went to college, got my bachelor's in criminal justice, was watching mine hunters in Japan, Okinawa, Japan, when I was in the Marine Corps. And I was like, what the hell is that job? Found out what that job is. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing forensic psychology. That's it. And then from day one, like once I have my mind on something, I'm fucking doing it. And from then on, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor in clinical psychology with a focus on forensic psychology. What is forensic psychology really like in school? Okay, when I went to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology in Washington, D.C., it was freaking awful. Like, worst experience I've ever had with admin and school in general. Professors, don't even get me started. I had one that we just went back and forth so hard. He was so rude, horrendous professor. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even teach here anymore. Like, he got let go and has to teach like other classes or something. He's horrible. But at the school that I go to now, it's really honestly, it's easy. Like, I thought it would be, I'm in my third semester. I just started, but I think this semester is going to be the semester that's really freaking hard because the first two semesters pretty much just like light reading, but like mediocre and discussion posts. And then now this semester I have discussion posts. I'm taking 2 classes and it's 3 months. I'm taking,
it's discussion posts and then heavy reading. And in one class alone, I don't know about the other class, I have 3 8 to 12 page papers, so once a month. So we'll see how that goes on content. That's going to be really hectic and crazy. True crime and psychology. Why are we obsessed? Discuss why people love true crime. You know, I know that there's studies on this, and I kind of just want to pick my own brain. I don't want to like look it up and ruin the fun. I think that it is a fantasy for people, like especially for women. So obviously, because we know that women statistically love true crime more than men, I think it's because we're prey, and it almost feels like an aggression of if it's towards a man, like yeah, like on the inside, and if it is a woman to something else, I don't know. Like maybe it's kind of like the underlying aggression, like I said, but also maybe it's kind of like seeing how you could be hurt, murdered, all these things. I don't know what the fascination is. Let's look it up now, because now that I exercise my brain, I want to see, why do women love true crime so much? Oh my gosh, let's see if I was right. If I'm not right at all, it's gonna be okay. I was kind of right. Survival instinct and risk awareness. Women are statistically more likely to be victims of violent crime, particularly why do I say it like that? Particularly domestic violence and sexual assault. Consuming true crime can feel a way to prepare for dangerous situations, learning warning signs and self-defense strategies. I agree with that. And that's why I said it before. Psychological and emotional engagement, desire for justice and closure, adrenaline and safe thrills, cultural and media influence, and community and discussion. Adrenaline and safe thrills. That's kind of what I was saying with like the anger. I think it's a way to get your anger out and to be like, oh my God, because I don't know, men just kind of go through their daily life. Like what worries do they have? Like whenever you talk to a man, most of the time, and you're like, hey, are you nervous to walk down the alley? And they're like, no, why? Like it's just a thing for women. I don't know. But the desire for justice and closure, I can definitely relate on that. Like I personally, this is gonna sound crazy to some, I can't watch the mystery murder stuff. I can't watch it. I have to know what happens at the end. Like if it's a mystery or someone get off the hook with something, like it physically bothers me so badly, because that's what's happened in my own life. Like and other women out there can relate as well. If they're sexual abuse survivors, lots of times it's just overturned. It's just like, whatever. Like I saw a comment on my Instagram a couple days ago, some girl on an old video of mine, she was like, oh, my brother-in-law was found to be a corn or into child porn, and he got community service for like 118 days. What? Like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. I don't know what specialty, if I will go into any specialties when I'm a forensic psychologist, but if I had to go into a specialty, it would definitely be with sexual assault. And I would just ransack that part of criminal justice. Like, I want to really get into studies and seeing how the criminal justice system works around sexual abuse survivors and in the court system and whatnot. Because wouldn't you also think that it would be good to have a psychologist or a therapist in the courtroom with the victim, because it's already so traumatic for them to repeat and regurgitate everything that's happened in front of a jury alone, but in front of the courtroom, like opening and saying something in general. There's just little things, and like I found out through my stuff that you can't even find out all the information. Like there's so much. Maybe we can go into it one day, and if you guys have questions or if you guys have stories on what you did in your case, if that was just kind of like fucked up that you noticed like that shouldn't be like that, email me at darkdiariesmanage@gmail.com, because I'm genuinely interested in packing all of this stuff together and figuring out what I can do in my part about it, because I really aggressively want to attack this situation when I do become a doctor, a professional forensic psychologist, and I can't wait for that day. But, I think today that we're gonna keep it on that. I really ranted for a decent amount of time, and I'm just really wishing you guys the best. And don't be so sad about TikTok. Like it is really sad, but we should be more sad and mad that they're taking away, they're violating our First Amendment right. That is what's scary. and I know a lot of people are going to like either not see this or not even care to engage with it or not even care to listen to what I'm saying, but just our right to go to college women, who knows like how far they're going to take this shit. And it's not even just about college. It just makes me nervous because I'm sitting here and I'm telling you guys, like, I have the opportunity to have this camera, to have these lights, to have this computer, to have an education, to continue my education, to have the opportunity to make this podcast, create content, do what I want to do. And then who's to say in a couple of months that laws don't change or something and I can't have any of this or you can't have any of this. Like, it might seem stupid to some, but it really is not dumb to me. And it really is pressing on me to push for women advocacy and just really making us strong and really get together as a group. Women by the masses are dangerous. I fear they are dangerous, especially when they're on the same page fighting for the same thing. And I just have to figure out a way to reiterate what I want to say to you guys in a proper manner. And I feel like my speech has been getting better with that. And if you guys have been following along, maybe you think so too. But how do we collectively gain confidence? That's like one of the burning questions that I have. And I also feel like gaining confidence, not only as women, but as men as well, helps with recidivism. And I just really want to get into that testing. I can't wait until we're already supposed to be figuring out a research question, I believe, for this week in one of my forensic psychology classes. But I want to dive deep into those questions. Like I want to know more because it seems like we can do a lot more in the criminal justice system towards criminals and like gaining resources to heal like their trauma, PTSD, past child abuse, things like that in order to make them better people. But as long as they wanted to work on themselves, we can't force everyone to do anything. But there's no way that we should be having this many people in the prison system. There's no way we can't do anything about this. Like, there's so much that we could do. And it's just unfortunate that the government really doesn't give a shit, to be honest. And I feel as though when there really is big change and people really start speaking up and like really contributing money to helping causes like this or people like this or scientists like this that want to study how to help people in incarceration because it's all privately owned, like it's all private money is what I mean. It's not given from just who like a university, whatever, sometimes, but it's mostly given from a billionaire or a millionaire being like, oh, you want to study this? Here you go. If we had more genuine people that gave a shit, we would be so much more advanced. But for some reason, the government wants people locked up, and I kind of want to figure out why. I just feel like when I become a forensic psychologist, like I'm a person that has a lot of questions of why, and I want to know the damn answer. And I'll just keep digging until I know it. Unless I really don't care, then it's like, okay. But if there's a question I want to know, I want to know why. And so I kind of like being in this position because now I get to talk to people all day, every day when I do become a forensic psychologist. And I get to learn about people. I get to read people. I get to really, really see your movements, your subconscious movements. Like people do things subconsciously and they don't even know. Like if people lie and stuff, sometimes they'll like, or they feel uncomfortable and they don't want to be in a conversation. They'll go like this with their nose or like kind of rub it a little bit, maybe play with their hair. And we know things like that. But when you're really questioning someone, are you really thinking about that? Most people know. If they look back on it, yeah. But I'm one of those people that I'm actively always watching. And I never used to be like that before. Until after the military, I would say I got like really hyper vigilant on shit. But I'm excited to transition that from my experience, what I have here, to forensic psychology. It's just forensic psychology as a whole for this semester. Like I was saying, I don't know what it's going to entail right now. It seems kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of shit. And hopefully with this research paper in one of my classes, we do get into the meat and potatoes and we like really get to dive in and like ask questions and like use our thinking caps and our grapes and shit. But lately it's just the past 2 semesters, it's been just discussion posts and like, I agree with you, Susan, and shit like that. So I don't know. But the books I have found interesting, the readings I have found interesting about forensic psychology And genuinely, if you're interested in true crime or how people are able to do what they do, like in horrible situations and crimes and different cases and, fucked up shit too, like why is someone a pedophile or, whatever it may be, forensic psychology could definitely be for you. Some people I know are forensic psychologists or going to be forensic psychologists, my apologies. They're going to work with children who have been abused and what is it, like juvie situations as well. And also on the other hand of working with people that are homeless. Wow, I could not get that out. Working with the homelessness and different advocacy departments and whatnot. There's so much you can do with forensic psychology, and I'm still learning. And I've only been able to find, I think, 3 forensic psychologists on social media. And they're actual, like, they're already done with school. They've been doing it for however many years. They're really good. Now that TikTok's going to go bye-bye, I don't know if I'll see their content anymore. I need to see if I actually follow them. But I want to be point A to point B. I want you guys to see me grow while I'm teaching you to grow at the same time, like what I'm learning. Like I would never, and don't take that with a grain of salt. Like I would never tell you guys something and not do it myself. Like the biggest example that I can use right now that is making me a hypocrite is that I'm telling you to be confident and whatnot, but I don't have like the confidence in my clothes because I don't have the clothes right now. But that will come in time when my manifestations start coming through and getting a little bit more money and being able to shop and get whatever the hell I want because I already donated everything. Other than that, everything I say to you guys is the same thing that I would say to you in person. And I would absolutely love DMing people and talking to them. I mean, you see me DM that girl earlier. Like, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to teach you things. Like, not that, it makes me high and mighty or whatever. The only reason why I'm saying I'm going to teach you things is because I do talk. I am speaking to you. I created this podcast for a reason, to get things out to the masses, because people talk, but do they really? Are they really that blind? Are they really that open? Are they really that trustworthy? And like, honestly, I can think of one time in my life that for real to a person, like a friend that I lied to. And it was so terrible, the feeling of lying, that I never did it again. Like to a woman. And there's one time I had to lie and it was a fucked up lie. I'm not going to lie. And maybe someday I can talk about that, but it was a fucked up lie, but I only lied because I was scared for my safety. Let that be known. But other than that, this other time was the only time I ever lied. And it was because this girl hooked up with this guy. And she's like, don't tell anyone. I was in high school. I was like a freshman. And so she's like, oh my God, don't tell anyone. And I was like, okay, well. And then it had come out in conversation somehow. And I remember when I accidentally said it, I was like, oh my God. Well, she's not going to find out. Like, it'll be fine. And she found out. And then she pulled me in the bathroom and was like, hey, did you say this? And I lied to her face. And I remember I knew she knew. And I just felt like shit. Like I cried so hard. I had so much empathy. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. Like I am such a shitty person. And I just never wanted to feel like that again. So that's also probably one of the reasons why I am an over truthful person. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. My throat is dry. But with that being said, we're going to go through this journey together. Follow me on YouTube. It's at Kate's Dark Diaries, and my Instagram. Don't forget about my Instagram at Kate's Dark Diaries. But I'm sad and low-key about TikTok just because I started there. But I'm really excited about this YouTube journey. And I know that you guys are going to be really kind to me throughout the whole thing. And I'm going to have the best audience and the best group of girls, because I've already been looking at my audience statistics, and it is women ages through 28 to mid 30s. And so far everyone's pretty supportive out there. I think shorts do pretty good and whatnot. But let me just shut up because I'm gonna ramble. And I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to check out my YouTube and whatever else, okay? Because I love you. Okay, bitches. I love you. Katie loves. Bye. I just want you to know that absolutely none of that recorded on my mic because I didn't press voice memo play. It is A-okay. Bye.